everybody, and welcome to another edition of Nasdaq Spotlight live here at the Microsoft Ignite Conference in Orlando, Florida. I am your host, Anna Gonzalez, and joining me now is Tony Bozzuti. He's the SVP and CIO of F5 Networks. Tony, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Anna.
So tell us a little bit about F5.
So F5 is a 20-year-old company that has specialized in application services. We make applications go faster, better performance, and also with more security in the data center and also now a hybrid environment.
And do you have any projects that you're working on right now that you're most excited about?
Well, the most exciting project, which is a series of projects, is our digital transformation. This is really the change of our company from the traditional perpetual model, license model, to the subscription model, from our business-to-business model, which we'll always have. We have some extremely loyal Fortune 100 customers that we've had for many years. In fact, I was a customer of F5's for the last 15 years in both the financial services sector and the healthcare sector. And the transformation of the company from a B2B to a B2C brings along our traditional customers, but now opens us up to the DevOps buyer, which means a whole new selling motion and a whole new servicing motion and a new back office set of systems. So this is the most exciting project that we have going on in the company for sure.
And what brings you here to the conference today?
So today this is really all about learning. I mean, when I saw Satya today speaking about other transformations in other companies that are part of the agricultural sector or part of the financial services sector or the healthcare sector, it's so helpful to learn about what those other companies are going through and how they're incorporating new ways of working with their technologies, new ways of thinking about their customers, new ways of taking friction out of the front office and the back office. So hearing all those stories this morning at the keynote address, but also being able to spend the next few days just being in different sessions where you're hearing more about those underlying storylines and things that we can learn from. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And what a better host than Microsoft, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about, you mentioned how long you've been in the industry. How have you seen things evolve to get to the point that we're at now?
Well, I mean, clearly it's about the cloud migration. Having worked inside of financial services and healthcare and watching us build out the data center and then co-location and private data center and then ultimately migrating into a cloud model, I think the evolution is going to really be a hybrid. I think as I look as the CIO of a high-tech company, I'm seeing our assets in multiple places. They're in multiple clouds. They're still some on-prem. There's still some in our co-located data centers. And companies that can help sort of aggregate a view into where those assets are, that's the future, I think, of the industry, certainly the industry that F5 is in. As we continue to be this trusted partner, as our customers do lift and shift, and as our companies do net new implementations, the future of our company, of the industry, is really about working within a now more decentralized data asset model.
And that's what gets you most excited?
Well, I think what gets me most excited is actually thinking about the world in terms of this the new target customer for us. I mean, as I mentioned before, that our legacy customer in terms of the data center, that customer is very important to us, and we'll continue to make sure that customer gets what they need. But at the same time, imagining a DevOps buyer who is in an office somewhere, who is or at home, who's coding in applications. Hundreds of thousands of applications are being created in this application economy every year. And those applications are being created by this DevOps leader. And this DevOps leader wants to code. They want to be able to access the tools that they need in a frictionless way, in a self-service way. They want to be able to have a continuous motion of continuous innovation and continuous development and continuous testing. They want to be able to do that in a self-service way, and thinking about how to best service them is really the most exciting, and I guess you could say I geek out about that.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, you have to in your role. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's switch gears a little bit, go to a lightning round.
Okay.
Ready? What app can you not live without?
Well, today, Seattle, which is where I'm from, is becoming more and more of a popular city. 6,000 people are moving there on a monthly basis.
Oh, wow.
And so my app called Waze is really helpful for me, and it's a great example of actually how crowdsourcing is one of the most exciting technologies today, because my routes can constantly change on my way home, and helps me to make sure I'm maximizing getting home to see my family.
Yes, yeah, that efficiency.
Yeah.
So what's the coolest tech you would say you use in your office?
I'll tell you, the coolest tech is I developed it over the last year, and it's my CIO dashboard.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's built on ServiceNow technology. But what this does is allows me, I finally have, and after many years of working through this in different companies, I finally have automated and instrumented my operation, my security, my project management, my budget, and I've got that all on a screen sitting outside of my office, and I have it available to everyone in my company so that they can all look at how the IT organization is doing on our service levels and how we're doing on our way forward into our digital transformation.
And that level of transparency, I'm sure, is very helpful, and for not only educating people, but maybe they see something you haven't seen and can bring solutions to the table. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually another good tie into the crowdsourcing discussion, because the more people have transparency, the more they give me ideas, the more we can prioritize the most important things to work on in the company.
Yeah, completely agree. What do you like to do when you're not working?
Well, I'm an avid squash player. Squash is like chess, but on a court. And I also I'm on boards for healthcare organizations that bring healthcare to low-income families.
That's fantastic. So, Tony, as we wrap up, for people who are watching and thinking, I want to be where Tony is sitting one day, CIO of a company, what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I think it's to stay very, very curious. The concept of learn it all versus know it all. You want to constantly be open, both for feedback, as well as open to new ways of solving problems for our customers.
Those are good words to wrap up on. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so good to meet you. And thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more conversations right here from Microsoft Ignite.
Great. Thank you.